Hey guys, Doug the Michigan Piper coming to you from the Pipe Rest. Today I'm smoking my Killarney Peterson 221, some Eileen's Dream by CAO, and man, Chad from Yardism put out a VR challenge, and I love these, Chad. I really do. These contemplations, part of the contemplation series, and Chad and I have kind of gone back and forth on these contemplation words or videos or VRs or whatever. But Chad's question is, what is loneliness? And if you're not familiar with Chad, in what he does in these is, excuse me, a lot of times he'll, excuse me, he'll do just a word, put a word out there, and then give, you give your dissertation on that word, however you feel led, right? This time he went a little bit further and actually put a sentence, a question, which is, what is loneliness? And I didn't do a whole lot of research on this, and I don't usually. It's a lot of times, I think this is what Chad's looking for, is a lot of times he wants to know what your understanding is of it, not necessarily the encyclopedia version. And to me, loneliness is a state of the heart. It's an ache. I want to keep saying to me because I know everybody's different, so you get that part. But it's an ache. It's a hole, a just absolute boring hole in the center of who you are. So much so, it affects your physical being. Reminds me of that part in Lord of the Rings when Frodo is being talked to by his uncle, and he's saying, I feel stretched thin, tight like a drum, and it's kind of Bilbo. I can remember his name. Bilbo was talking to Frodo, and he talks about being stretched thin. It's that stretched thin, but then there's a hole bored right through that. Just happens to be where your heart is. To me, that's the feeling. It's something that just pulls you in and down and out. So, to me, loneliness is that hole, that ache. It's almost it's as bad as having the cancer, but there's nothing there. You can't point your finger and say, that's what's causing my problem. Kind of like a black hole in space, scientists can use their best equipment and see the havoc that a black hole creates, but they can't see the black hole. Can't see the black hole itself. What I mean by that is, yes, there's a black mark there on the star map. But they're looking into nothingness. And I don't think you necessarily have to be by yourself to be lonely. I mean, the first glaring example that I can think of for my generation is, or actually was before my generation, but is Marilyn Monroe. You know, she was surrounded by people that were telling her she was beautiful, and she was just a center of the universe, you know, especially in her world, right? And she committed suicide. I think she committed suicide. She might have OD'd, but I'm pretty sure she committed suicide by ODing. And there's just countless examples of Hollywood stars and singers and a bunch of famous people, not just famous people, but to get my point across, a bunch of famous people that had everything, that had everyone around them, had everything that you would think that you need. And they were dying of loneliness. Now, having said that, by the grace of God, I don't suffer from loneliness. And that's coming from a man who is in 2 different leadership positions, one for a full-time job, one for a part-time job. And it can be lonely at the top. But to me, there I go again, to me, there's a difference between loneliness and feeling alone. To me, feeling alone is acute, right? Or feeling lonely is acute, and it's, it's a here and the now. It's like, man, I feel alone in this decision, you know. But being lonely is chronic. Being lonely is a lack of something. And I'll be honest with you guys, I kind of set you up because in my mind, I know what that something is. I've known very few true believers that suffered from loneliness. Having said that, they are out there. And I'm not going to pretend that I've got it all put together because I don't suffer from that. That's not how it works. But to me, I think a lot of loneliness out there is because people are chasing something that only God can fill. It's sort of like that game we played as a kid. Trying to get they had the ball. And there was a square hole, and a triangle hole, and a diamond or a star hole, all these different holes on it. And you had the square piece and the diamond piece and the whatever piece you're working with. And it's like we're just trying to cram that circle hole or that circle piece into the square hole, and it's not working, and we keep hitting it, and every time we look at it, there's a hole there. Keep hitting it, trying to push it, grab another piece and try to push that in there, and buy another piece and push that in there, and this will make me happy. And then the end result is you still have a hole. See, I don't think that the opposite of loneliness is happiness. I think that the opposite of loneliness is fulfillment. And with Christ, my cup runneth over. With Jesus Christ, my cup is filled. There you have, Chad. My take on loneliness. So, guys, if you haven't heard of Chad, his screen name is Yardism, and great guy to listen to. Unfortunately, I don't have time to listen to all of his stuff. I try to get in as much as I can. But good guy to listen to if you've ever heard him before. So, guys, I hope you're all doing well. Until next time, you take care.